Hello everyone, Preston here with another video. This week we're going to be working on a tutorial for how to draw hoodies or hoods on hoodies specifically, because in my TikToks and my shorts that I've made this week there was a couple people asking about how I draw the hood part for hoodies, and I was like, why not make a whole tutorial about it and just get a good explanation out there on how I draw hoodies. Now, if you like what you see, please comment what you guys think or what other tutorials I should do in the future, and subscribe to help out with boosting this channel. And let's get on into the video, alright? Alrighty, so with this right now I got some base sketches I have here of where I would be at when I'm trying to start drawing a hoodie. Usually, personally, I do the hoodie first, or the hood first, for the character instead of this way, but this is just a route just to show where everything would be placed. Now, when it comes to a hood, you have to remember that they are a piece of fabric. They will be put onto an object, or they would be put onto your person. You are the object, right? So they're gonna fall where the most weight is, and there's gonna be where they're connected to is gonna be the least amount, at least from my experience. Now, they've made several designs and whatnot where there's more color or different situations, but in general, hoods tend to have less here and more in the back. But with that, you have to also remember, so with the jacket I'm referencing, mine has a bit of a collar, okay? So when it flops down, it goes a little bit like that, okay? It has a little bit of a flap right there, and similar on the other side, okay? But with these flaps, or these collars, there's going to be a little bit of divot. Now, one thing is that there's going to be a lot more hood over here than there is going to be up here, okay? So there's less here and more here. Now, with that, I usually follow the curve of the hood. So an easy way is to follow this, make it shorter, kind of messed up, but follow this, make it short, and connect, okay? Now this is just the base structure. Usually what I would honestly do is add a little bit of this just to add a little bit of more depth to the hood that you're trying to draw. Now, you wouldn't see much of this side because it's on the opposite side of the hood that you're drawing. So you would make it so it connects here. Usually depends on the hood, depends on the fabric. There might be some extra divots or folds and creases that the hood will follow. Okay. That's the general idea of hoods and how they work, okay? Now, this one would obviously have more there, and there's always the back of the collar or the back of the hole where your head goes through for jackets or hoodies, where there will be more fabric, and you can also add more creases like so. Nothing too crazy, nothing too shabby. Situation where it's just there's a lot more down here, and it also depends on the hood on how much they're going to put here versus here. There's a lot of different things. Always get references. I took my own references of my own hoodie, so I get a little bit of a easy route for it, because there's also some more divots for it and creases and folds that because it gives a little bit more of a point right here on the head, and that is just one way to understand how hoods work. Now, it's going to be different for if it's going to be on the person over the head, or if it's going to be under and full. So what we're going to do first is we're going to do what it would be like if it just laid flat onto the person. Okay, so it's going to be if it was just down, hood is down. Because that's what the video that people commented on was, is that the hood was down. And there's always stylizations, because in anime they usually make them a little bit more bulky, and cartoons they usually make them a little bit more they add a little bit more to the collar. And that's just a stylistic choice. For me, I like doing a little bit in between for me personally, and that's just a recommendation. So with that, with this one, it would go up here, okay? Because according to my reference, I have a bunch of reference here, and I'm following what the references show. Okay. And it is just like that. Has a little bit of a divot here and goes over. And on this side, goes there, creases there, and bada bing, bada boom. We got a front-facing hoodie, you know, a little hood that's going on with a jacket. It's super easy. It's just using the references that you have to understand where things are going. Okay? Now, when we're going for the side, it's going to be a little bit on the different situation, because you're seeing not just the folds, but you're also seeing how it's going to be falling onto the body and onto the clavicle and all the forms of the person, as well as the padding that the hoodie or jacket has as well. So with that, you would have to follow the reference a little bit. With my references, it's giving more of a volume situation with these, because, you know, there's a lot that's happening with this. But look, with this one, it actually falls, because we are not cylinders. It falls in a way that would make it so it's vanishing right about there. There's a vanishing point. It's a little bit more, I'm exaggerating a little bit, because it's more right there with this one. But that just happens when I'm setting things up with these sketches and whatnot and how things are happening. But with all of these, it's kind of fun, you know? Just a little fun. Now, I didn't take a reference for this one. Didn't take a reference for this one because I was going to just show you how using references from other forms to show how these can work with different situations. Now, again, it's all about following the shape and form, because there's a lot that can go on with these. Because if you notice, this one follows this one follows the shape and form of this way, and this one does the same. There's a shape and form where they're going, and there's a lot more tightness, because right here all of these shapes and forms are trying to follow this, and they go up and relax, and then they follow more and they follow more. There's a shape and form to it, so they usually go follow the shape of the person. This is where studying anatomy will help you out with understanding how these other fabrics can help you, is because you have to have a basics of anatomy as well as what's going on to help you out. But I used to draw hoodies all the time in all of my characters when I was younger, and that's literally the staple for my characters was hoodies. So I learned how to draw hoodies a little faster and a little bit more than most, I feel. But even then, this one, see how the shoulders are going this way, kind of, with this image? But look at the hoodie. It's following the same form and shape, okay? So what we have to do is we have to be like, okay, so this is where the starting point is, and it's going to follow the form. This is where the starting point is. It's going to follow the form, okay? So let's go back to other layer, get the correct brush color. We're going to just follow I'm going to do a little bit of this one because I actually like how this one turned out a little bit better. And I'm looking at my references as well to see if I'm going to make mistakes. Okay. Since I'm using both of these and all the references, I understand that the hood is going to go down here. Okay. So seeing where the shape and form is, because you're just the same person. It's the same person, just a different angle. It's just a different angle. So if you understand where things are going, you should be able to see how this one is. And this is why it's really good to take more than one reference photos if you can, or get multiple angles of the same reference photo. And this is actually why animators use more than one reference position for their characters, because then they can figure it out and they don't have to make something up. It's all there. So this is just the way that I make hoodies that are laying down and what not situations. Okay, so let me just quickly get things set up so I can show you guys how I draw hoodies that are actually folding onto a person, and we'll go from there. Okay. Alright, we're back. I got a new layer set up with the same models. We're just getting things cleaned up. Now we're going to go into how I draw the hood and how I draw it for when it's on the person. With this, it follows the same preference as the cylinder, but this time it's going to be on a sphere because our heads are rounder, more oval, spherical. So it's going to follow more of a sphere situation. Again, I do have references and I do know which points I need to draw the hood. And I like personally bigger hoods on people's faces or on people's heads because it just gives a little bit more character and a little bit more shape driven for the art as well as for myself because I like bigger hoods. Now, my references are a little different now with this because it's following. Okay, so it's going to be following the situation of this, because now that gravity is not pushing it off of the head, or it's not pushing itself off the shoulders, it's pushing itself down from the head. So most hoods will follow this path. Okay, now with bigger ones there's going to be a little path for this way, and it's going to go the same for where opening of the hoodie is, because it's going to have the same situation. With this, it's going to be the same here, okay? But with mine, it's going to have a little bit more of a divot because it adds more fabric in the back, okay? With the hoodie that I'm using for reference. So it's going to do a little bit of that, but it still follows the way the head is shaped, okay? So this is just figuring it out. And look, there's a little bit more to this than just following where everything is going. Now I'm moving this over so I can have a little bit more space, but let's get into the drawing of the hoods now. So with this, I prefer to go from the inside of the hood to just show where the open shape is, and then go from the outside down. Okay, I prefer drawing up to down, so this will go a little bit more like so. Okay, and see, it follows this path. Now with the inside, it's going to follow the same path as the rest of the hood. Okay, so it's just going to follow the same path and try to connect it in the back. So it's easier to remember where things are if you get that full picture in your head, because it's going to always wrap around. So it's going to wrap around on this side and do the same thing. Okay, so then we just follow the shape, this one, and bada bing, bada boom, we got the opening of the hood. Now, again, with this hood that I have and that I use for reference, it's a little bit more on the top, okay? So, we go here, and we follow the shape. Now, with most hoodies and most cloths, they're going to have a little furl, where if we look straight at it, it's not going to look like it's a furl. It's going to look like an extra crease. So that's why I have this little area right here, okay? There's a little bit of an area where it's going to just add a little bit of a crease onto the inside. Okay, now we're going to go into the other side, and it's going to follow the same pole of the face and the head. And it's just going to lead in to the end of the hood. And voila, we got a quick sketch of a hoodie front facing on a person. So now we're going to go on to the side view, because this is going to be another part where we can see different spots of the hood than we would because of how this hoodie is made. Now, again, it follows the wrapping of the head. Now, since it's not front facing and there's not much that it's going to be showing for the face, I am going to start from the outside this time. This is just a preference. I just try to think ahead and see where the bigger shape that I'm going to have to draw is going to be first. And then I go small, big to small, and that's my preference. So, I will be going like this, because it does have a little divot. It's going to follow the crease. It's probably closer to the skull, to be honest. I'm going to redo that. So it's going to follow this, go down. I'm going to guess hit just above the skull from what the reference is showing. Hit a little spot, go down. Hit a little spot, go down. Boom. Okay. So it followed the path that I knew it was going to take. And to finish it and connect it to this point right here, it's going to do what we did earlier. It's going to follow the crease of a cylinder, because it still has fabric that's going to be laying on the hood for at least this hoodie. So it's going to go down and into it right there. Now this one goes up and into that. I just want to do that just so I know the location of roughly where it's going to end up here. Okay, so now we're going to go into this. Okay, so it's going to go close and then follow the skull of the person or the object that's on it's on. And the cool thing with my hoodie is that it actually divots up. Okay, and we go down, boom, and then this one kind of has a little extra flare right there. Now you're probably like, wait, that doesn't seem right. There's a it's going on in the outside. It's not showing. It's showing a lot of the face. Well, this is actually on the farther side of the head, because the reference actually shows this, and it's actually going a little cattywampus. It's a little off the kilter. It's a little asymmetrical, which is okay. This is why we take reference. Not everything is going to be perfect in the world. Not everything is going to be symmetrical, and that's just going to be a-okay. So this is how we work that out. Okay. You then follow the reference. Okay. My reference goes a little bit more like a Sith Lord. And we go in, and bada bing, bada boom, we are there. And this is just me using reference and using artistic liberties for specific things, but I'm still following the way that the hood forms around the head. Okay, so with this in mind, we see roughly that it's about above eye level, okay? And we see that it shows a little bit more of the lower face than it would anywhere else. So that's when we're gonna show off this side, okay? This is when we can actually understand what is going on with this hood to be able to make it so that we're using the references of two different angles and putting them together into one new one, okay? So let's start with the back of the head, because this, looking forward, looks like this would be the most and largest shape for me. So we would go here and just follow a little bit of this. And since I'm making it up a little bit, it's going to have some little flatters. And that's okay. This is art. We're not trying to be perfect. We're trying to make something new and unique. We're trying to understand how to use references. Okay. This is why I say use references. And there's a lot of people that you can learn from that can teach you how to do things without references. But this is an easy way to learn how to not use references in the long run. Because understanding how to use references, you will get that in your head, and if you draw something enough, you will learn how to use that in your newer pieces. So with that, we then go over, and since it's going to be covering more of the face, I'm going to say, I would say about that much. No, we're going to redo that a little bit. It would be a little bit more like this much, okay? And it opens up quite a bit on this side, and it goes out because of the fabric and how it's made, and boom, we got one side done. And you know, adding these little furls, because you can see it's right there too. Just add the little furls, and we're going, so it looks like this one actually goes in and then out on both of them, okay? But it goes out like this, okay? And that would make it so it covers a lot more of the face. And we have a person wearing a hoodie. Ta-da! Let's just fix up these minor details so it looks a little bit more. So that's my process on drawing hoodies. I've drawn them quite a bit over the time, and I still use references all the time, and I still have lots to learn because there's a lot more styles and different types of hoodies that are out there. There's some that have little points like Assassin's Creed. There's some that are like weird X-shaped fabrics that have more of like a jagged fabric overlapping situation. This is just my way of how I make hoodies. Alrighty, so that was the tutorial on how I draw hoods. I use references and use my imagination quite a bit about how to draw hoods. I know a few things about classical hoodies that helps me keep things for when I want to just quickly dish out a hoodie. But this is just my way of how to draw hoodies and using references as well. The whole video was super fun. I like these type of tutorials. Let me know in the comments what you guys want me to work on next with tutorials and everything, because this will help me understand what you guys want to learn from me as an artist. If you liked the video, please like on it, and also don't forget about the subscribe button, and don't forget about the bell with the subscribe button to let you guys know whenever I post a video. I am trying to post more shorts and other videos onto YouTube as well, but I need more content to push those out, and things may change in the future. But thank you again for watching the video so far, and thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope to see you guys next time. Bye!